Hello. We are live here on my Instagram and up here on Christine's Facebook.
Please let us know that you can hear us okay. We're going to wait for a couple of people to jump on. Even though it's Wednesday, I know it doesn't feel like a Wednesday. I don't feel like it's Wednesday. It feels like every single day is a blur at the moment. So I wanted to jump in, and the reason why, as we're waiting for people to jump on, let us know that you can hear us okay. Just want to make sure that everything is good. You can see us, you can hear us. It'd be great to let us know before we jump into this live training. I'm so glad that I have friends like Bay that can come on and share her wisdom as well. So we really wanted to jump on and create this live tonight because of not only our clients experiencing what's happening in the world, and I know it's a really difficult time right now, and it's very unforeseen of how it's going to go, and it's very uncertain times, and we are also navigating through this challenge as well as business owners, and we wanted to be able to share some tips and some training around how we're navigating it, the mindset and the strategy and the things that we're considering to help support you. By no means are we experts, and by no means are we telling you that you have to do any of this, but we just wanted to share because we need to stay connected and we need to stay supported. And I love my clients, and I really want to see them succeed throughout this challenge and throughout this crisis. And I know that Bay does too.
Yeah, of course. And I think that there's a lot of, we're going to be talking a lot about just experiencing this through a completely different view. There's a lot in the media that can bring a lot of fear around the economy and what that means for small business and stuff like that. So we just want to bring our expertise, and like Christine said, we just so happen to have a skill set that we can give back at this time and be able to support people where we can. And yeah.
So I think we need to first start with where we're at this point in time, right? So there is so much happening, yet there is so much that's uncertain. And I think that when we're in this state of fear and this state of uncertainty, it can be very easy to get caught up in all of the catastrophizing and the panic that's going on. And I really want to take this moment just to acknowledge how you feel. Like, we feel it as well, and we've been talking about to our clients who are feeling it as well. And there is, different people that are affected in different ways right now. And I know that Bay really wants to talk about that and to start to consider, but I want you to start to first consider where you are in regards to your fear state. So thank you all so much for jumping on. I can see everyone jumping on, sorry. Let us know that you can hear us okay. And obviously if you have any questions, you can, pop those in the comments. So first and foremost, it's about getting clear on where you are right now. So as a business mindset coach, I really help to support the business owner as a whole and then consider the business, because the way that everything is right now, it feels so uncertain and so out of our control. Everything's happening outside of us. And yes, we're seeing the rest of the world being affected in a bigger way right now. And there's all this catastrophizing around, it's going to get much worse than what it is. And it may. And so first, I really want you to consider, where do you feel you're sitting in regards to your fear? Do you feel like, are you in a little bit of denial about what's happening in the world? Are we a little bit in denial about how it's going to affect your business? And that's, there's no right or wrong here, absolutely no judgment. It's just about having the awareness around where you're feeling and how you're sitting in regards to your fear. Are you really focused on the fear? Are you constantly looking at all the updates? Are you looking at the news constantly? Are you staying in a state of fear? You're freaking out about what's going to be happening. And that's legitimate as well, right? It is a scary time. We are going to feel the fear. And so I really want to share with you some tools that I can share with you to be able to support you through this time, to move through the fear, to be able to support you to come to a place of being level-headed as you make these decisions to help expand your business or keep your business consistent, or to be able to just survive. So, Bay, do you want to share first and foremost the 3 areas of where people are affected?
Yeah, so obviously Christine will share her expertise on the business mindset that you need to have, and I'm obviously, as a strategist and sales coach, I will be helping you on how we're going to at least focus on still bringing those sales and that cash into the business as well, because I think a lot of the fear also comes around that, like, what about if my cash dries up, and what about if people stop paying, and all of that sort of stuff as well. So when I was thinking about it, I was like, do you know what, there's probably three categories that you could fit into as a business in this time. The first category is that you're actually directly affected. So maybe you're in a face-to-face business, and maybe you are a PT, or you are a massage therapist, or you're doing something that's hands-on. You might be in events. So you're obviously directly affected, and these people are obviously going to have the most challenges within this place as well. And then also up from that, being mildly affected. So I would probably say that we sit in the mildly affected spot. We're not directly affected because all of our business, well, predominantly all of our business is online, but our clients are affected. So you might be in a state where, I know that I've had people that have gone, okay, actually, maybe let's wait to start coaching because I need to kind of, there's problems with my product getting here, or whatever that might be.
Or cash flow.
In cash flow situations as well. And then obviously there's people that are completely not affected at all. So we want to talk into all three of those areas of business, because even if you're currently at the mild or not affected, depending how this goes, we don't really know. But I'm going to be talking a little bit about, sales and marketing, more about the economy, more about cash flow, where Christine's going to be talking a little bit about mindset. So we're going to work really well together, because we always do. So so that's what we're going to work on. But we want to just say that you are going to experience different things at different times depending on what category of those that you sit in. Should we dive in?
Yeah. So I think first and foremost, I really just want to talk about the fear, because this fear is different to a normal everyday fear. This fear is not something that's, a pattern that you've played out, or it's not a form of fear that is keeping you stuck because of limiting beliefs. This is a fear that's actually basically threatening our safety, right? So this is why it feels so heightened, is because it's not, the way that our fear works, there can be subconscious fear or there can be direct fear right here. It is a danger, right? And we need to be aware of it. And that's where I feel like most of us are sitting, in this really heightened state of fear. And although some people are calm, people have been messaging me going, I'm pretty calm in a chaos. What's going on?
I'm actually really calm.
Am I abnormal?
I'm so calm. Like I was just saying to my clients in my group program this morning, like I'm actually really calm. Like I feel really confident, but we also don't know what's coming as well. But yeah, I feel good, but I also know there's people out there that are affected, and that's why I'm affected. So yeah.
And so I want to be able to share with you some tools that you can use when you notice that your fear is getting out of control, right? So when we're in a really heightened state, and the reason why our fear is so prevalent right now, obviously, is because it's a threat to our safety in regards to our health. It's also a threat to our security. So obviously economically, right? It's actually feeling out of control, and so much is going on outside of ourselves that we're fearing everything is going to, implode. And so what's really important to be aware of is that we need to find, because there's such uncertainty in the world, our fear is at its heightened state because of that level of uncertainty, and that level of uncertainty creates that fear of not being safe and not being secure. So what you want to do in this time, and I want to be able to support you in getting back to a feeling of level-headedness. The fear may not go away, and this is not the purpose of this live, is to say that I'm going to tell you just to stay positive and to not feel fear. Like, that's impossible. There are going to be waves, and there's going to be times when you feel really fearful, and there's going to be times when you feel calm, right? So for you, and I feel like, and even myself, when it comes to business, you want to make decisions from a place of a level head. You want to make decisions that are going to support you in your future, not from a place of reaction. So when we're in this place of reactiveness, and we're in this place of just responding to everything that's happening outside of ourselves, we can sometimes make decisions that aren't the best for us. So what I would suggest you do is work on how you feel first, and then decide what you want to put in place, yeah? So like I said, fear is coming from a place of uncertainty. So the first thing we want to do is start to look at what's some certainty that you can rely on right here, right now, right? What is absolutely certain within your life, within your family, within the existence of you, the human being that you are. What can you be absolutely certain of? And sometimes it's coming back to the simplest things like, I'm certain the sun is going to come up tomorrow. I'm certain that I can continue to serve my clients, right? I know that for sure. Whether, clients continue to come is out of my control, but I absolutely am certain that I can serve. So it's bringing yourself back to a place of certainty. And that could easily be something like, I'm certain that, for instance, there's food in the fridge right now. Like, find some form of certainty that makes you feel safe and secure, and rely on that to keep you safe and secure. And then what you want to do is you want to check in with how you feel. So when we're in a really heightened state of fear, we actually our autonomic nervous system goes into sympathetic, which means we're actually breathing very shallow. Our heart rate is racing. We're feeling fearful, right? Often we'll talk really, really fast. And so we'll notice that. So when you're in that really heightened state, and I have this, like if I ever have this happen with a client, so say if I start a session with a client and they get on the call with me and I can feel their energy is scattered, I can feel that they're like intense, they might be, chopping and changing, what am I going to do? I don't know, I'm freaking out about this. When we're actually in that state, the first thing that I do with them is actually bring them back to equilibrium through a breath pattern. And so I want to share that with you as a tool that you can use. Our breath is a beautiful, powerful thing that we can use to calm our nervous system down and remind us that we're okay and remind us that we're safe, right? And you can use affirmations while you do the breath pattern if you like. Things like, I am safe, I am healthy, I am okay, I am loved. And using those to actually remind yourself of and bring yourself back to that place of level-headedness and calmness. And so the breath pattern is when you're in that really, really heightened state, your external, like your out breath, so you would do deep breaths from your diaphragm, and you can place your hand here and then place your hand on your belly, and making sure that your belly is actually coming out when you breathe in. So breathing really deep into your diaphragm. I'm going to ask you to do this with me while we're sitting here, because everyone's feeling this, right? So I want you to breathe really deep from your diaphragm, and then exhale. And to bring your nervous system down, you want to do a repeated pattern of that, but your out breath needs to be longer. Because often when we're in a heightened state, our breath is so short that it's actually not calming our nerves. So we want to breathe in and then allow the out breath to be longer, and that helps us bring us back down to calm. So some of the tools that I use at the moment, I'm using myself, is things to actually keep myself calm from a place right from the beginning of the day. Because it's so easy to get caught up with consuming everything that's going on, keeping up to date with all the updates, and we're starting our day in a place of fear. So the first thing that I'm doing in the morning is making sure I'm not getting on socials, not getting onto my phone straight away, and finding a quiet place where I can just start the day on my terms. So and for me, it's meditation. There's lots of different ways that you can use to reduce your stress levels and to reduce the cortisol in your body, which is causing more and more fear. And that's lots of different things, right? So meditation, if that works for you. Journaling. You could use the breath patterns, just doing breathing patterns like that. Visualizations that you can find on YouTube. There are so many. It could be moving your body. It could be, holding a powerful stance. If you've ever looked into, what's her name? Amy Cuddy. If you ever looked into Amy Cuddy, she has a beautiful YouTube TED Talk all about the power stance and how allowing you to get into a level-headed state. It could be music, right? Find something that helps you start your day level-headed and calm and collected before you let the rest of the world bombard you.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And, I'll talk a little bit about, because my head always goes, I tend to be calm if I know what I need to do and then start taking action on things as well. So I'm normally the person that forgets to breathe, and I'm just like head into it, going, oh my God, I just got to get started.
And this is what we do. We're walking around trying to make decisions in our business, trying to do these things, and we're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And we're actually not breathing. So even just reminding yourself to breathe throughout the day. And other things that I'm doing at the moment is in between sessions, I'm taking 5 minutes just to reset myself, whether that's meditation or going for a run, any form of movement. So I've been, like today I went for a walk, just getting out into nature, anything like that is to help you bring back your equilibrium is a beautiful place to start. And the reason why that's so important is because if you're running on fear at all times, your decisions are always going to be reactive. And not only that, you're keeping yourself in a fight or flight state. And what happens when you're in fight or flight, all the blood runs from your brain down to your extremities to get ready to fight or fly. And you can't think straight. You can't have conscious thought. You can't problem solve, right? So all of these things, it's the way the brain works. So we need to get our brains in that prime position to starting to step into a place of resilience, then starting to step into a place of, hey, what about if I took this on as a challenge? What if I looked at this from a completely different perspective and looked at the opportunities here?
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about now, so we've focused a little bit on like the fear mindset, but let's talk a little bit about, really stepping back on like what this actually is, and then I'll dive into the sales strategy and how to keep that money coming into your business, or, at least keeping cash flow, like, everything happening, I guess, as much as we can. So in terms of when I look at this, like, I guess like what I really wanted to talk about as well was, yes, this challenge that we're having is the coronavirus. Yeah, it is a virus that's affecting us globally, and it will eventually in some way affect our economy as well. But like when we step back, we actually have challenges in our business come up all the time. Yeah, literally it could be anything. So you could be key person dependent. So for example, my business is mostly key person dependent, and last year, at the start of last year, I actually had to close my business because I had some really bad health problems, and being a coach, I have to be top game to be able to serve my clients and give them the best, consulting as I can, that I actually had to make the decision to say, actually, I need to take that time to recover. So that's a challenge in itself. So I think it's so easy to look at this and go, oh my God, it's the coronavirus and all of this stuff. But, 2 months ago, it was the bushfires. And then who knows what's going to happen in just a couple of months' time as well. So I really want to step back and rather think, oh my God, what's the coronavirus doing to our business? It's really looking at, okay, challenges are going to happen in our business. How do we move forward? How do we prepare for them, for future ones as well? Because I can guarantee you this is absolutely not going to be the last challenge. This is absolutely not going to be the last time your cash flow is put under pressure. And that might be scary, but that's also business. That's the game that we signed up for. And I truly, I kind of get excited. Maybe I'm crazy, but I get excited around times like this because I really admire some of the great leaders, business leaders as well. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day saying, Steve Jobs got fired from Apple. That was a huge challenge. And then look at him come back. And, there's been so many companies that have nearly come down from external challenges. And it's just really stepping up and being like, how am I going to pivot? How am I going to adapt quickly? How am I going to step up and make some change and make sure that we get through this? So I kind of want to come from a place of, rather than this being the coronavirus has put this pressure on us and put that, that challenge in the way, is just get comfortable with challenges. Like, it's going to be something, you could be a massage therapist and break your hand. Yeah. The same thing's going to happen. The exact same outcome's going to happen. So it's really not I think it's just so enhanced because it is on a global scale, and it is, are going to affect our economy. But like I said, there's going to be so many times that we're going to have the exact same outcome. So I really wanted to come from that place, and then we'll talk a little bit about strategy as well.
Yeah, and so then when we think about it and we start to work on our mindset, we build the resilience for these times. We build the courage to work through these times, right? And these are allowing us to actually step up and become the person that we want to be and be resilient through these times. And so to do that, sometimes we just need to come from a place of acceptance that, yeah, this is happening. And hey, this is actually highlighting some things for my business that maybe I need to work on. This is highlighting some of the weaknesses that I might have, that, hey, if I'm not online, if I'm not showing up online, if I don't have some form of passive income that's allowing me to continue to work and to actually continue to thrive, then maybe that's something that I could work on. And so being able to come from a place that, when we're level-headed, we can then shift into solution-focused. Because often we're coming from a place of, when we're below the line, where, we're blaming and we're fearing and we're judging, and we're coming from a place of, it's out of my control. But what I want for you is to take the power back and be like, you know what? It's okay. This is happening. I'm going to work through this. And one of the key questions that I asked myself this week that actually inspired this live was, who do I want to be throughout this crisis? Do I want to be running around like a headless chook? Do I want to be freaking out? Do I want to be playing, in a place where I'm pitying myself, or I'm like, it's completely out of my control, I can't do anything. It doesn't feel good from that place. And look, that doesn't mean, please don't think that doesn't mean don't feel your feelings. Feel your feelings, we're gonna feel it. but work through them to get back to that place of level-headedness so we can focus on a solution. So when we're focused on a solution and we're allowing ourselves to see the opportunity and to see things that weren't there before, like some of my clients this week have been so phenomenal in the way that they're thinking so outside the box that they're just like, you know what, this is actually possibly going to be great for my business. Or this is actually, you know, I know that I was been fearing about creating something and doing something online, but this is actually taking away those excuses. I have to do this now.
Yeah, 100%. Like I've had clients say, you know, I was going to launch this, or I was going to get my, you know, I was actually having a conversation with a beautiful retail brand, and they've got a brick and mortar store, and she's like, you know, a couple of weeks ago we were talking about getting the online store, and she was like, God damn it, you know, like, you know, don't you wish you had that in place at the moment? And that's what I mean, like, and I come from you're kind of talking about who do you want to be through this, and I talk more about, you know, what kind of house do you want to build? Because like I said, challenges are always going to come up. The level of wind is always going to change. You might have a light breeze, or you might have a massive bloody tornado that we're going through at the moment, right? But if you've got a house built out of, you know, sticks, and it's going to wobble more than a house built out of bricks as well. So it's like, you know, how can this set you up for the future of having that online income stream, how to you know, diversify your, you know, different income that's coming in, or your services that are coming in, but also stepping up, like you said, like there's so many ideas that we have as business owners and entrepreneurs, and it's like, when are you going to launch? Oh, I'll get to it. But what about, you know, if anything could happen, right? So we really want to be in that place. And the other thing from a mindset perspective, just before I go into the strategy, is like I said before, we're always going to have challenges come up, and I did a post on my stories today. I love the yin and yang. Like I'm quite philosophical, and I love the idea that there's always the opposites in everything. And it's really looking at, okay, great, this is a challenge, and we're always going to have those challenges come up, but how can we see the silver lining in this? How can we see the good, the you know, the positive outcome in this? And I just think, because challenges are going to come up, honestly, your ability to overcome challenges is like working a new muscle, right? It's going to become stronger every time, every challenge you go through. And this is a pretty big challenge that we're going through. So it's like, imagine how strong, you know, you're going to be at the other end. You're going to be faster and stronger as a business. That, you know, something's going to come, and again, your house isn't going to wobble. You're going to stand strong and go, oh, this is just another challenge. I know how to work through this. So I actually think, coming from a place of, do you know what, we're going to have such stronger businesses at the end of this. We're going to work faster. We're going to start implementing things quicker. And we're just going to have that solid, strong mindset through it as well. Yeah.
And sometimes that can, you know, getting into that headspace to be able to make that happen, to be able to see it from that perspective, is looking at opportunity and possibility that maybe wasn't there before, and allowing the pressure to push us to that next level. But then sometimes it's almost an element of like noticing the beauty in what this is offering us, and then what this is actually teaching us, but also allowing ourselves to really see it from a perspective of, you know, like, I totally lost my train of thought, sorry.
I think what you're trying to say, but almost like as a training ground almost.
Yeah.
Of like, like we're in the training ground. Like we're going to need these skills. It's like you didn't know how to use Instagram X amount of years or months ago, and you built the skill to use it. It's just the same. Like we're constantly learning new skills, and overcoming challenges is a skill. And I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I kind of get excited about things like this, but like, it's probably why I stay level-headed with my clients and like, go on, let's do this. But again, like, I know that everything that we do is setting ourselves up, you know, even from having to take myself out of the business at the start of last year because of my health. You know, now I'm putting things in place that it's not really key dependent on me, and building my team, making sure those things are in place. So I think that we're always going to come, and having that mindset, we're going to come out of this faster and stronger, even if you have to slow down. And, you know, there is that little bit of a struggle in the meantime as well. So let's dive into a little bit around like because I know a lot of fear as well can come around the sales aspect of it. And look, some businesses are going to suffer with their sales, and that's just me being completely honest. And it's for a couple of reasons. Like, obviously, you know, from my experience, like it's so unfortunate sometimes, like people are kind of getting into a space of like, oh, I'm struggling to get clients or I'm struggling to make sales. I'll get there. And it's just unfortunate that sometimes things like this happen that don't give you the opportunity to get there at that time. So, if you're not set up with consistent sales coming in and stuff like that, obviously with the face-to-face as well. But I think the first and foremost, if you are being directly affected, it is getting advice from someone as a financial advisor, because you need to be looking at your cash flow. So I did this myself last night in my business and just looking at, okay, cool. If I had 0 sales come in, how long would I stay operational? And it's really important to know that. And the thing is, I was thinking about this before and I was like, we should be doing this every single week and month in our reports anyway. And like, I always get like, especially for smaller businesses, sometimes we're like so good at what we do that we forget that business side. And for anyone that knows me or worked with me, everything is about numbers. Like for me, the numbers give me all of the answers. And it's like, okay, cool. So if you were checking in on your cash flow and you knew on a consistent basis how long you would be able to stay operational at any time, then you know how to make those decisions. You're prepared for that sort of stuff. So for me, probably why I am feeling so confident is I am prepared. I do have quite a positive cash flow because of what I went through at the start of last year, having to close because of my health, that I've set myself up in a way that no matter what was to happen, I would be able to get by as well. So it's first and foremost, if you are being directly affected, I'm not a financial advisor, but it is looking at what can you do to be able to stretch that cash out as much as you can.
Yeah. And taking care of your security like that will allow you to get back to a state of level-headedness, right? And then you can make clear decisions on what your next steps are. And you can decide, okay, so what am I going to do? Am I going to find work somewhere? Am I going to have to get work in something that I'm not necessarily going to enjoy, but it's just a short period of time and I'm going to continue to work on my business alongside that? Now, that's not a failure. You're still working towards the result of it. It's a short-term, temporary thing that you may need to do to take care of yourself through this crisis. And like everyone's going to have to consider that at some point. So please know that that's not, you're not failing. If you give up on your business, I think you're failing. So being able to be mindful that you can make those decisions based on your security to support yourself, so then you can make more clear, level-headed decisions when it comes to your business down the track.
Yeah, and something else I want to touch on is I've had so many messages come through Instagram in the last couple of days of people saying, should I launch my service? Should I actually be marketing? Should I continue selling? And my answer is absolutely yes, like a solid yes. Like I'm not even doubting that as an answer. At times we can, think about, especially as the bushfires, I feel like we shut down as a country and was like, I'm just not going to, we're so empathetic in our culture, and where we don't want to gain when other people are losing, and it is something that we have to overcome. But I've been looking at Instagram on, there was that young basketball player and he sacrificed a whole month of his income to pay all the stadium people. If we don't make sales for the people who aren't directly affected, we don't have money to invest back into the businesses that are affected. And I think that's really important, because if we pull back and we're like, oh, actually, it's not the right time to launch, it's not the right time to focus on sales activities, we're actually doing a disservice by everybody in the country, because our whole economy will go down as well. So my suggestion would be, obviously looking at different revenue streams firstly. So if you can bring anything online, please do. If you are in the severely affected state, just be conscious in your sales process that you're not coming from a place of fear. In sales, there's an energetic exchange in everything we say or anything that we do. And when you're putting out, let's say call to actions or sales messages that you need new clients, or you want to, you've got availability or whatever that is, just make sure you're in a really calm state of mind and you're coming from a place of serving, because that energy is transferred, and obviously people will be in a fear to spend money because they can feel that you feel fear.
And obviously come from a lens of the crisis. So think about how your client would be feeling right now, what's going on for them, and make sure that your language and the copy that you're using is sensitive to that.
Absolutely. And I also think, touching on that, we were actually having this conversation yesterday or today, we can't assume that everybody doesn't have money, right? Like, we're going into this going, oh my God, no one's spending. Like, I mean, I've talked to clients who are getting new clients at the moment, getting more inquiries and stuff like that. I've just invested heavily into my business today. We've got to remember that,
buying online, lots of people buying
exactly.
online.
I was talking to a friend and she was like, oh my God, I've spent more money online than I have in the last 72 hours than I have in like the last month, right? So we actually need to get out of the mindset that no one has money, no one's spending money, because it's actually not true. And we actually just we do need to get into a headspace as business as usual, because if we aren't being affected, then we can actually then reinvest back into those small businesses and support them as much as we can. So, do you want to say something?
There you go.
So regardless of where you're at in being affected, and this is the thing of what I was saying in terms of we should be reporting on our cash flow all the time. We should know this. We have to be spending majority of our time on sales generating activities every single day. Yeah. Every single day we need to spend time on sales generating activities. And what's crazy is I talk to a lot of people, maybe they inquire with me and I'm having a conversation and I ask them, how do you spend your day? And a lot of it's not based around sales, right? So we obviously need to be moving our focus even more so on sales generating activities than you do on a normal day as well, because that's going to set you up with the cash flow, but also obviously to be able to help those businesses in need as well. So don't stop. It's all about still getting yourself out there, stepping up, especially in a sales process. Like, you don't make sales overnight. Like, you want to be, staying in that brand awareness, making yourself top of mind, because, somebody could be watching you now, and as soon as the crisis is over, let's just say it finishes like in 3 weeks, right? They'll be ready to buy in 3 weeks. So don't wait till it's over. And then, because then you've got a sales cycle that you need to take people through, and then they might need 3 weeks to actually then invest in you.
And that's even if for whatever reason, like if you're watching at the moment and you have a brick and mortar business, or you have a business that's face to face and you cannot offer anything at the moment, that does not mean that you disappear. Right? So stay in that brand awareness phase and still show up, serve your clients, spend some time sitting down, thinking about what are they going through right now and how can you serve them from a place of being online, right? So even if for whatever reason we go into lockdown, it's going to be all online. So let's focus on how we can serve our clients, and, by actually solving their problems and actually helping them while they're going through this, you're going to become such a trusted person that they will want to work with you later down the track. So like Bay said, it's not about tomorrow's sales, it's about further down the track.
100%, because business is a long game, and that's why I keep saying this is just a challenge and it's going to happen again. Like, I want you to know that this could happen again, but we have to flex that challenge muscle and go, do you know what? I can stay level-headed through this. I trust myself. I'm going to give it absolutely everything that I have. I'm going to adapt. I'm going to think of new ways that I've never, ever thought before, and set yourself up, after this, that if anything does happen, that, like I said, we're always going to come out faster and stronger. But it is time to take action. Like, don't hold back. If anything, if you're not being affected currently, you need to ramp up your sales so that if you end up being affected, then you've got something to fall back on. And if you are currently being affected, just know that even if you're not making sales, it's okay. It's okay. There's been lots of businesses that have been through this and made it out the other side. It's about continuing on and committing to getting up and going again and not giving up. And again, it's just getting into that focus. And it might hurt. It might mean taking out, putting on that credit card or taking out a loan. But, what are you going to do? If you're suffering now, what are you going to do after this crisis? You're going to make sure you've got the best converting sales process. You're going to make sure that you've got diverse income streams. You are going to have such a better and stronger business built of bricks that it wouldn't matter, even no matter how the wind, how blows, how heavy the wind is, you're going to be a lot stronger than what you are now. So that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to, not say be positive, but just say, kind of just
be proactive.
Yeah, and kind of make it neutral. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just neutral. I think that when we look at things like that in that way, that there's always something that's going to be great out of a bad circumstance. But I think it's just looking at it as it is what it is.
Yeah. And I think like one of the other things that I'm loving seeing a lot of the leaders out there at the moment showing up online and sharing, like, use this time to grow your business, use this time to put in those systems and processes that you don't have it at all yet, put the things in the place that you've been telling yourself and all the things you've been putting off for whatever long, or use it to upskill, figure out if there's a skill that you need to be able to serve your clients on such a higher level that when you actually overcome this crisis, you're upskilled and you can charge more, right? And so there's so many different things that you consider, and it's about thinking about what are the possibilities, what are the opportunities, and who can I be in this crisis. The other key thing, the other tool that I like to use in a time like this is what I call stepping into your future self. Now, I think I might actually do a visualization and put it up on IGTV in the next couple of days with this one in mind, because I think it's so powerful. And I did it for myself the other day. It was like, took some time to, center into my body and then closed my eyes and just sat there and thought, in a year's time, how will I look back at this? So if I've overcome this, worked through it, my businesses continue to work, my businesses continue to thrive, and I'm consistently helping clients, and it's even better. So who was I in that time? And stepping into that future self and seeing her, overcome that challenge, like how much more courageous and resilient would she be? And stepping into her energy and starting to imagine you're stepping into her energy and being her, and then look back on this time and go, okay, what could I do? What's something different? How can I show up and create this space from a unique idea that nobody has ever done? Because out of tragedy and out of disaster, a lot of beautiful things come. And, there's so many stories out there, and I'm loving seeing all the memes over Instagram about, hey, when this happened, 10 years ago, when the GFC was on, this happened. And when this, fall happened in China, Alibaba started. There's so many different stories coming out, which is really cool to see. Allow yourself to see those positivities and see the places of possibility, and allow yourself to step into that as well.
Yeah, 100%. And coming back from an action perspective, you know that you need to be doing X, Y, and Z to grow your business. You might not have been doing it, but bloody hell, if you're being affected now, you are going to make sure that you have got everything on point. And looking from a perspective of maybe you're making some loss now, but if you were to keep it consistent, start growing your strategies, start growing your processes, and also knowing that, I think skill and knowing these skills of how to overcome these things in that time is I've lost my train of thought now. We're going, it's crazy, it's the end of the night. Yeah, I'm not a great
we've both had a big day. So please, if this is resonating with you, please let us know. If you have any questions, please let us know. It's really important that we hear from you as well. I think the other key thing is that the leaders that are focused on the solutions are the ones that are looking for the opportunities and that are doing things differently. And this is pushing us to do things differently. This pressure is allowing us to let go of all those excuses, let go of all those things that no longer matter. It's actually reminding us of what is actually really important. And that is taking care of ourselves, taking care of our health, taking care of our family, and allowing us to do that. And our businesses can set us up to do that as well. So where is this allowing you to see things differently, in a different light, to be able to help you show up differently in the world?
I actually just thought of something while you were talking, and it just reminded me of Uber, when Uber came out, right? And think about this as a crisis, right? Imagine being taxis. That's a taxi crisis, right?
Yeah.
They are under so much, all of their wages, their families, all of the structure, all of these things. Someone just slid in. So that's what I want to come from as well is, yes, this is called coronavirus challenge, but it's just a challenge. We're going to have heaps of them. It's okay, right? Yeah. So like I said, the taxi crisis, they didn't adapt quickly enough. Yeah? There's a long time before Uber came in. If they were to work quick and be like, do you know what? We're not having this.
We need to
do something better. We need to be stronger and faster in what we're doing. They would have had something in place and wouldn't have been, market share wouldn't have been taken over by Uber. So just think about those sorts of things. Do you want to be taxi or do you want to be Uber? Do you want to be the one thinking outside the box, being like, do you know what? There's a market for this. And honestly, you should be online anyway when we think about it. It's all of these things. You're meant to be online if you're not online at the moment. That, having diversity of income streams. You know this. You know that you want to have your sales process in place to make sure you've got consistent clients. You know that cash flow is king in every business, right? You know this. But I think this is just going to be that little bit of a light up the butt, that little fire that you're going to make sure that you've cross-checked everything.
If you allow it to light a fire under you.
Yes.
And this is where we get to make a choice. We have a choice here. Even though things feel completely out of our control, we can take back that control and get level-headed and actually come from a place of, what do I want to choose here? Do I want to choose to fall down and crumble? Or do I want to choose to look at this as a challenge and go, you know what, bring it on. I want to do this. I want to come out the other end and be like, you know what? My business freaking thrived throughout the coronavirus. How did yours go, right? So we've got to come from that place. And that's an absolute mindset of looking at things as a challenge, not a problem.
Yeah. And I'm actually so excited. Like, I know it sounds crazy. I sound like a maniac. But I'm like, I can't wait. I can't wait for this, because we are, not just for me, but all of my clients, all of my community, everybody, you guys watching, your business is going to be the best it's ever been at the end of this. Like, you're gonna have things. Yes, Kelly literally just said, bring it. Like, let's get excited about this. Let's get excited to be business owners and entrepreneurs. We are creative people. We want to
get to pivot. You know what? Big corporate companies, they can't pivot the way small businesses can pivot. Like, you get to make decisions and make those changes tomorrow. They have to go through 50 million meetings before they'll do anything.
And they'll all be on Zoom and, but, it's really, like, that's what I want to bring across. Like, don't have that fear mindset. You can't create anything from that place. We are in it for the long haul, whether your challenge looks like the coronavirus, whether your challenge looks like, being a hands-on service and you break your hand. Your challenge could be being a Facebook ad specialist, and you've niched yourself so perfectly in there. And then guess what? Zuckerberg stuffs up and Facebook's gone tomorrow. Challenge, right? It's going to happen again and 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 again, right? It's going to happen again. Get used to it. Strengthen that muscle. Be positive about it. Keep neutral. Yeah? It's not good or bad. Good or bad is only what we label good or bad. If we just keep neutral and go, this is just something that I have to do, step, A, B, and C, off we go.
And if you're in a place of like, well, I don't know what I could do, get yourself into actually a mindset of problem solving. Get yourself into a mindset of coming up with heaps of ideas. And the best way to do that is actually to start to sit down, and I'd like to do it like first 20 minutes in the morning when your brain is actually really fresh, and just start writing idea after idea after idea and challenge yourself to come up with 10 to 20 ideas. Now, an entrepreneur that does that is going to come up with freaking amazing ideas. And if you set yourself there and you actually, every single morning you get up and you write 10 to 20 ideas, I guarantee your business will thrive, because you'll actually want to thrive with it, right? Rather than crumble.
Can I just add to that?
Yeah.
I bet you've already got 10 ideas in a notebook that you've written a couple of months ago, but you haven't actioned, right? We are ideas people. That is why we create businesses. That is why, we came up with an idea and we've created X, Y, and Z in our business. You have the ideas, right? You might need to think a little bit more outside the box than ever before, but it's about taking action now. Pivot quickly. I have seen some of the most incredible things that businesses have changed and, put online or offered different services or whatever that might be. And they're the ones that are going to get through. And you can get through. Like, no one sits on a live, and listens to us. Like, you guys want to make change. You're here for a reason.
You showed up tonight for a reason. Absolutely. And allow yourself to actually, like, if you need help, ask for help. Like, there's people out there. We can help. Like, honestly, like, reach out for help. Brainstorm with friends. Get people together who are other people that are in business, and connect, and then focus, rather than focusing on talking about the problem and talking about coronavirus and dramatizing it and catastrophizing it. Go, you know what? Let's sit here and brainstorm 50 ideas of the ways that we could do things differently. Like, think about if there's, I was even thinking about the other day, I don't even know why this even came to mind. It might have been something I saw on Facebook or whatever. But if you're a clothes store and you can't get online just yet, why don't you partner with 5 different clothes stores and then create this amazing boutique that nobody is ever doing, like, that nobody's doing it the way you are doing it. So there's so many different ideas out there, but when you get your actual headspace into a mindset of creating ideas, more will come.
Absolutely. And out of that 50, even if 49 don't work, that one's going to work. There's going to be something in there that works, right? But I think we really just want to send that message, keep this neutral, stay in a really level-headed mindset. If you are being directly affected, acceptance. You might take a hit, and that's okay, because that's what businesses do sometimes, yeah? But know that you're never gonna put yourself at that much risk again.
And decide now that you're not going to let it affect you. Decide now that you're not going to let it actually crumble you and you give up, right? Like, decide, because once you decide, you will find a way to overcome it.
Absolutely. And if you aren't being directly affected, please do not hesitate on marketing and sales generating activities. Please do not hold back, because the people who are being affected are relying on us to make money in our business so that we can spend it with them.
Or hire them, right?
Exactly. You might have people that in your direct circles. Like, there's already people that, I had something booked and I was like, oh my God, I've had to postpone it. Instead of having one massage, I'm going to have 2 massages, right? And it's like, how can we make up for that? But unless I'm making sales, unless my business is growing, unless I keep putting myself out there, then I'm not going to have the cash flow to be able to spend on somebody else's business that really needs me to be spending on their business as well. So please, that came up today in my group mentorship. And I just want to say, it's not the time to not launch. It's not the time to stop putting yourself out there. And also, there's so much out there about coronavirus. I don't know if you guys remember the bushfires. It got so heavy that people started actually getting away from social media, and they started switching their phones off. They started deleting the apps and stuff.
They started distracting themselves with other things to do. So in a week's time, like, even if we go into lockdown, people are going to get bored with it. And do you know what they're going to do when they get bored? They're going to find something else to do, and they're probably going to spend their money somewhere as well. Right? So they're going to do online courses. They're going to be consuming your content if you're putting content out there. They're going to be buying things and getting it delivered. Like, there's going to be other economies that are going to come out of this
100%.
This downfall, right? And so start to think about, like, what else are the needs out there? So there might be something that you could come up with that is part of your business, but actually taps into another need that's only been brought up because of this situation. So when you start to think from that place, you could actually excel in this. And I was literally having a conversation with a client about this yesterday, because she's in a position now where, I'm not going to give too much away because it's obviously privacy in her business, but she's in a position now where she can offer something to a certain demographic in the public that, because they have then been turned away from the service that they actually need right now. Right? And so she can do it, and she can create it online and actually serve these people in such a time of need. And so allow yourself to get out of your own head and go, how can I serve? How can I help other people? And I guarantee you will come up with something incredible.
Yes. And also, just going back to the fact, do not get into the trap of telling yourself that people aren't spending money, because I promise you they are. Have you seen how big the bills at Woolworths have been? Like, people are like 3 times in their groceries. They've got money to spend, right? They're not holding back. Like I said, I know people personally that are continuing to, do online shopping, and it's not like anything that they really need. Like, it's just, outfits and stuff like that. I
bought books today just in case we go into lockdown.
Exactly. So we need to, don't get into the headspace of like, if you're not being directly affected, don't be like, oh, people aren't going to spend money. Like, people will. Right? It's not affecting everybody. Unfortunately, it is affecting a few people. Those people need to keep in track of their cash flow, their finances, and they need to just hold on to their breath and do the best, like go as quickly and as fast as possible to make the, make the changes that they need. But they need to focus on sales and marketing as well, because pipelining sales processes that those people are then going to be ready to buy when this is all over. So the idea is that, let's just say you had 10 clients and you lost, Georgina said, don't hold your breath. Remember, Christine said to breathe.
Breathe.
Don't hold your breath. Take a big breath. Let's just say you had 10 clients, right? And you lost 8 because of this challenge, neutral challenge. At the end of this, we want to get all 8 back plus another 10. To make up for all the months that you lost income, right? So it's not like, oh, we've got to get over this and then I'm just going to have what I had before. No, you're going to be pipelining. Although people aren't if you are being affected directly now, if people aren't spending right now, you need a pipeline to double your sales when this is over.
And double your ability to take on those sales. right? So being mindful that if there's some certain systems and processes you don't have in place yet, that when you get overly busy, that you're not going to be able to handle it, then think about those considerations as well.
Yes. So I think that's us over and out.
Yeah, we've gone through a lot, and I want to be mindful of that. You know, people have joined us today. Really appreciate it. But yeah, if you have any questions, then please feel free to reach out to us. And yeah, we really appreciate you jumping on, and please know that we're here to support you, and you will get through this. We will get through this. This will pass.
Yes, and if you are feeling a little bit of doubt and you are feeling that fear, scroll all the way back to this. We'll put it out somewhere and get to the bit where we're lighting that fire back in you and bringing that energy to remind you that you just have to keep going, but it's making that commitment. You're going to do it. I know you can do it. We're going to do it, so we're all going to do it together. Yeah?
Amazing. We'll see you online tomorrow because we're going to show up, and we expect you to show up too.
Yes. See ya.
Thanks so much for jumping on.